Lin Jian ate the fruit, which was not white inside as he had expected. As soon as he swallowed, he felt his body becoming lighter, filled with energy. The hunger and cold that had plagued him vanished instantly. Yuan Kongye then gave Lin Jian a sacred mission, to cultivate the holy tree with his abilities. Only by doing so could the tree grow stronger and provide food for more followers. Lin Jian gladly accepted the command from the sect leader. He approached the base of the tree and made a small cut on his finger. However, even though it was just a minor wound, his blood flowed like a river. The holy tree eagerly absorbed every drop that fell. Yuan Kongye then stepped forward, healed Lin Jian's finger, and ordered that from now on, he must feed the holy tree with his blood every day. This was his noble duty. Meanwhile, in another part of the frozen world, Zhang Yi's home was warm and full of life. Everyone was training hard to grow stronger and healthier. Chun Lei, being the weakest among them, pushed himself harder than anyone. His allies were combat experts, each a monster in their own field, making him feel inadequate. Determined to improve, Chun Lei worked tirelessly to replace his body fat with muscle. Zhang Yi approached him and advised, strength grows with training, but more importantly, you must have intelligence. Focus on that. Power is just a weapon, your mind is what controls it. Chun Lei was taken aback by Zhang Yi's words. He suddenly realized that a pebble thrown by a master was deadlier than a shuriken thrown by an amateur. He had been too fixated on physical strength alone. Now, his focus shifted to unlocking the full potential of his abilities. Music. A month passed, filled with rigorous training at Zhang Yi's base and an abundance of apples at the Snow Sect. Then, in the most unexpected place, something terrifying occurred. At the ruins of the Shirshan base, a horde of zombies began to rise from the corpses that had been left behind after the base's destruction. In the shelter, Shinsen was discussing the King Pu base with Zhang Yi. It seemed that King Pu's forces were still playing it safe, refusing to launch attacks or attempt external invasions. They were satisfied with their current territory. After suffering a brutal defeat in the war between the 5 armies, their leader, Wing Hai, had been severely wounded. Now, he was more cautious than ever, continuously retreating into his defensive lines. This retreat had even allowed other armed factions to emerge within his domain. As for the Snow Sect, they had become the greatest beneficiaries of the last war. Their followers had multiplied rapidly, possibly reaching tens of thousands. Shinsen wanted to warn his leader about the looming dangers posed by other bases, but Zhang Yi dismissed the idea. He did not see the Snow Sect as a threat, nor did he believe that their leader was strong enough to mobilize such a massive force. Shinsen, using his sharp mind, tried to convince Zhang Yi otherwise. He explained that the world was teetering on the edge of collapse, even worse than the previous era of chaos. In times like these, the balance of power could shift drastically. I know you have no grand ambitions, Shinsen argued. You just want to live peacefully. But that doesn't mean the world will let you. Other powerful people think the same way. The Snow Sect will soon become the dominant force in Tianhai, and they won't even need violence to do it. Once their numbers are large enough and their doctrine spreads, even the 3 major bases, or at least some factions within them, might assimilate. Shinsen was certain that they were trying to create a new world order. But Zhang Yi still found the idea ridiculous. He believed that just having a large number of people was not enough to dominate. Against a well-equipped modern army, sheer numbers alone would not grant absolute power. Shinsen reminded him that Yuan Kongye could awaken new mutants. Zhang Yi acknowledged that mutants were simply humans with enhanced strength, but very few of them were truly powerful enough to be feared. For the first time, Zhang Yi started to reconsider his stance. He realized he needed to remain vigilant against the Snow Sect. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted. Zhang Yi noticed something outside the base. A massive horde of zombies was heading toward their bunker. He immediately ordered Shinsen to alert everyone and gather in the main hall to prepare for battle. Then, he stepped outside to inspect what had triggered the alarm. Shinsen, confused and uneasy, muttered to himself, "Where did all these people come from? With this many, could it be that the other bases have united to launch an attack?" Zhang Yi turned back, his expression grim. Uncle Yu appeared to ask about the situation. From a distance, Zhang Yi realized that the approaching figures were zombies, not ordinary humans. Lien found it hard to believe, even as he saw them with his own eyes. Judging by their clothing, he suspected they were from the Shirshan base, which Zhang Yi confirmed. However, what was truly strange was that these bodies, which should have been frozen solid, were still able to move. With his intelligence, Xian quickly deduced that a virus had been released. Zhang Yi agreed but remained calm, believing that while these zombies were terrifying, they shouldn't be too powerful. He took up his weapon, determined to put a few of them down for good. Karen, eager for action, requested a weapon and offered to help. Zhang Yi handed her a simple firearm, reminding her to be careful and not to shoot any allies by mistake. As they stepped outside to confront the undead, Uncle Yu charged forward immediately. "Be careful, Uncle Yu," Zhang Yi warned. Lien swung his sword, while Zhang Yi demonstrated his precise shooting skills. Karen, grinning, challenged Chun to a contest, who could take down the most zombies. However, their confidence was shattered when a headshot zombie suddenly got back up. Bullets weren't enough. Even close-range attacks proved ineffective, as the zombies could dodge and withstand stabbing strikes. The terror grew as the zombies moved with unnatural speed, encircling their targets and attacking with vicious bites. Uncle Yu, even without a sword, managed to cleave a zombie in half using only a shovel. Yet, even as it was split in two, the zombie continued to crawl forward. It then lunged toward Chun and Karen, forcing them to stay even more alert. On the other side, Zhang Yi used his dimensional portal to trap the attacking zombies. His abilities continued to impress Chun, but Zhang Yi himself was more surprised by the zombies' reactions. They seemed to retreat when they sensed the danger of his dimensional portal. But that shouldn't be possible. Zombies, as mutated corpses, weren't supposed to have intelligence. Zhang Yi began to suspect that someone was controlling them. The missing bodies of the soldiers also felt suspicious. To take control of the situation, Zhang Yi pulled out a tank and gave instructions to Uncle Yu and Lien Yu. "On the count of 3, jump as high as you can." As Zhang Yi fired the tank, the explosion lifted them into the air, giving them a moment of warmth before they landed and sprinted away from the horde. Realizing that his ammunition was limited, Zhang Yi switched to a flamethrower and ordered Uncle Yu and Lien Yu to move faster. He unleashed a wave of fire toward the closest zombies and, once again, saw them retreat. This confirmed his suspicion: someone was controlling the zombies. The hidden manipulator had likely decided to withdraw, choosing to preserve their forces after realizing that Zhang Yi's team was too difficult to defeat. Lien was puzzled. How could someone control thousands of zombies, especially frozen corpses that keep moving even when cut apart? Zhang Yi insisted that they needed to gather more information. To understand the nature of these creatures, he absorbed the zombie bodies into his dimensional space. There, the zombies were treated as organic matter, not living beings. Zhang Yi then retrieved several flamethrowers and instructed his team to burn every remaining zombie fragment before returning home. Upon their arrival, Yang Mi looked horrified, mistaking the zombie corpses for ghosts. Jaime quickly reassured her. Zhang Yi explained that these zombies exhibited intelligent behavior. They avoided his dimensional portal and retreated when sensing danger. This only strengthened his belief that someone was controlling them. Yukare asked, "Why did the zombies attack this place?" Meanwhile, Xin reminded them that their main enemies were Basi Xiangsheng and Chao Yu. Yukare added another concern. If someone had this much power, why didn't they use it in the previous battles? Without a clear answer, the group decided to stay within the shelter, where they were safest from the zombies. Xin was tasked with monitoring whether this phenomenon was limited to their location or spreading across Tianhai. Uncle Yu and Lien were ordered to check their physical condition, ensuring that they had no wounds that could lead to infection. Yukare was assigned to investigate the zombies further, searching for evidence of a virus or the possibility of an individual with unique control abilities. Zhang Yi knew that discovering the source of this control was critical to stopping the threat. If a virus was responsible, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for Tianhai, but for the entire world. However, if a single individual was controlling the zombies, then there was someone in the city far more dangerous than any enemy they had encountered before. This realization sent a shiver down Yukare's spine. The world was once again on the brink of disaster before they had even tasted true peace. Zhang Yi reassured her, saying, "For now, what matters most is keeping ourselves safe within the shelter." The final task fell to Yukare. She began analyzing the zombie tissue samples. Although fascinated by their strange properties, she remained cautious, as the remains still showed signs of movement. She needed more time to understand them. Yukare grew increasingly worried. While their group was capable of fighting the zombies, weaker bases, such as the Snow Sect, would be in serious danger if attacked. Her fears soon became a reality. At the Yangqing base, a massive zombie horde launched a devastating assault. For a moment, Honglian hesitated. But with her fire abilities, she fought back. However, the sheer number of zombies overwhelmed her. She quickly drank a special solution, boosting her power, and incinerated the entire horde before investigating further. Honglian realized that these zombies were not normal. Someone was behind this attack. Determined to uncover the truth, she ordered an immediate investigation into the mastermind controlling the undead.